Hello everyone, it is
Dario.
Chef Dario.
Chef Dario.
And Anita with Passionate Cooking, and we're here today with episode 1 of Fridge Feasts. And we've decided to put this together because it's a very important time for us to be able to organize our food, be more prepared. It's what we talk about all the time anyway, but I think in going through what we're going through right now, it's important to be able to utilize every single bit of food that we have available. There's going to be no waste. We look to what we have in our fridge and in our cupboards already, and it's very, very important. Right now, what we're finding is we've asked people to come over to Passionate Cooking, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, to come over and like and share and whatever. We've also asked people to download the meal planner and grocery list, which we've got here. I put it in a black and white version. It does come in a color version. And some people are having a hard time downloading. So if you're having a hard time downloading it, what you do is you put in your email address and then it gets emailed to you. If there seems to be a problem, come to info@passionatecooking.com. To us, it's more important that you have this information and that you're using it and getting help from it than running into any other frustration. So email us at info@passionatecooking.com and we will send it to you. This is a great tool that you can print if you like to write. Write down what you have in your pantry, write down what you're needing for groceries. You know, look at your fridge and your pantry and see what you're needing, and also have a menu planner. So it will tell you, the ideas of what to have throughout the next few weeks so that you can organize yourself. You don't end up running off to the store in panic, trying to find things, leaving people without food themselves. Right now, everyone seems to be going into this panic, and there really is no need. Be prepared. That's what we say, but there's no panic that's needed. So come over to info@passionatecooking.com. Double make on your meals, freeze them, do what that is. It's really, really important. So today I'm going to leave it to Dario for the rest to talk about how to create meals from nothing. One of the things we're running into is our apples are looking a little tough, a little bit worn,
Beat up.
a little bit beat up. So, we need to use them. We need to find a way to cook with them or to bake with them. And so, we're going to talk about this today as one of the things to be able to create with. On to you, dear.
On to me. Okay, so we want to be sustainable. We don't want to waste food. We want to make sure you utilize absolutely everything. But when we go shopping, we just grab everything without thinking. The meal plan is a way to guide you a little bit. But sometimes, even with the meal plan, if you tend to buy a little bit more, there is always a use for every single thing you do. In our case, this week we have a lot of apple, we have some squash, and we want to make sure that we utilize absolutely everything of this thing. So from this squash, from these apples, we can make multiple recipes. From wonderful soup, from great pasta dishes, from garnishes, for roasted chicken, with butternut squash puree and apple paired together. And why not? Absolutely phenomenal dessert. Everybody likes apple pie and everybody likes...
I'm going to be playing with that later.
Are you going to be playing with that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Some desserts.
And pumpkin pie or anything like that.
And juicing.
And juicing, phenomenal for it. You can do absolutely everything. Actually, juicing with squash and apple together, that's a perfect combination. Flavor combination, being creative with that. It don't waste. So what we do, for example, one of the things we're gonna make, it's a perfect apple and butternut squash soup. Very simple. What we do, we make our vegetable stock, okay? Because the liquid is the most important thing, but because it's a liquid, make sure you utilize everything you have of this beautiful vegetable. So what I do, sometimes I really wash all the squash, trim the toughest part, and put them in a pot with maybe a trimming of peeled onions, a trimming of a garlic, or maybe 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. All the bits and pieces of Parmigiano Reggiano, the crust, into that pot. Maybe the trimmings of your carrots. There's a lot of nutrients there as long as you wash them. Cold water, bring it to a boil, and what are you obtaining? This yellowish because all the butternut squash inside of the skin has got a lot of nutrients still, right? It's got still a lot of the pulp. So what's going to happen is going to give you that incredible umami squash flavor, vegetable stock. And then you start, you're making a base of your soup. So obviously, onions, you can use garlic, you can use leeks if you want it, you can use celery, carrots, okay?
Whatever's in your fridge.
Whatever is in your fridge. We call it the Trinity, okay? I personally for me, I like lots of onions, few cloves of garlic, roast them nicely. If I have some fresh herbs, maybe some fresh thyme, sweat them with a little bit of olive oil, okay? I'm not putting butter all the time. Sure, I can use it once in a while.
Mediterranean lifestyle.
That's right. That's right. So we tend to have more oil than actual butter. Sweat them nicely, and then have your butternut squash. Peel, okay? You're gonna have the seeds inside. You can use it, toast them, and use them as a garnish at the end with a little bit of whipping cream if you want it. And then sweat the squash, okay? As you're sweating the squash, now you become, because a squash just like that doesn't say nothing. As the squash is sweated, then we have the apple. So with the apple, what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep the skin, because a lot of the nutrients are here. We cut them in little pieces, removing the core, hide them in the squash, sweat them again, okay? And at that point, prior of putting our liquid, we're gonna flavor it. So my favorite thing to do, personally, is a little chili, because everything is very sweet. So you want a little bit of heat. So I have some Thai chilies here. I never like to chop them. What I like to do, see the little bit bruise over here? I smack them down, flat them down, put them in a pot, goodbye.
It's like a basketball move.
A little basketball move. That's right. So you sweat them nicely, and then what I like to do, aromatize it. So we have some ginger over here. What do we do with ginger all the time?
We freeze it, and then we grate it.
We freeze the ginger. We last longer. You don't waste it, okay? And what we do, we take it out of the freezer, microplane, a box grater, and we grate whatever ginger we need. The skin of the ginger is phenomenal. Don't ever throw it away if you can. You can peel it if you want it. You can dehydrate it in the oven, and then on a coffee grinder, you can blitz it, and it becomes a phenomenal spice if you want it. And then we have, if you want, a little bit of fresh nutmeg. So this is the real nutmeg. Then we use it, we grate it if you want it, and we keep it in a sealed glass jar. Whenever we need it, we can use it. I find this one, it's better and more aromatic than that one that is already been processed. Because, we know very well that everything that is being processed and is being lose its potential, lose the essential oil, and doesn't really taste the same. So I highly recommend that. One nut like this one lasts a long, long time.
You're a nut. You last a long time. Sorry, trying to have a little bit of fun with it.
Next. It's true. I last a long time. So then you start playing with the spices. So we love to make our own spices here at home, and we really work on creating things. And Passionist Cooking is about living around the world. That's what we do on an international dinner club when we develop a recipe. Then we try to play with all ingredients and we try to make it own. What I have here are two simple spices. One is the Chinese 5 spices, and one a version of an Indian spice. Chinese 5 spice is very aromatic. It's got cinnamon, it's got cloves, it's got star anise, it's got some fennel. So it's got all this beautiful spices being toasted and then being grated into a powder. Smell this. Oh my goodness. And here I have Indian spices. So I got cardamom, I got cumin, fennel, beautiful flavor. Same idea. I toast them, grind them, put them in a jar, seal it. Whenever I need to do anything I want to do, I do it. In this case, if I want to make a soup, I can choose whatever.
And Dario is a real expert in flavors, and that's the one thing that I've noticed is when you get a meal that you've made, you've understood the flavors and how they all work together. So it's phenomenal. So that's why giving the advice here on the different flavors to go with the different types of foods is really important. But maybe there's something you don't like, and maybe
That's right.
you like your own standard spice. The purpose of these fridge feasts is to be able to think outside the box, to change your mindset and look at different creations and different ways of utilizing everything to its full, right?
That's right. And this is the thing. So now we are cooking the soup, and the soup is cooking, is wonderful, is delicious. Don't overcook it. A soup like that, as soon as you have this squashed and they're tender, it's done. Now what do? The first thing you do, you remove that chili, okay? You take it out, you put it on the side, has no use anymore. We can puree the soup, okay? And then we put it back in a clean pot, and we just bring it to a simmer. One is up to a simmer. How many of you, tell me, have little pieces of, little container of rice? Here we have some barley, couscous, quinoa, or anything like that. To keep something a little hearty. I mean, today is a pretty cold day.
Well,
so,
depending on where you live.
Yeah, here. It's very cold. So what we like to do, we add a little bit of texture. So texture is very important anytime you eat something. So we have some barley over here. We wash it. And then, like I said, we bring the pot of soup pureed up to a simmer. And then we're going to add the barley in it, and we cook it until it's tender. So probably 10, 15 minutes. Okay?
And add some nutrients to the soup as well.
Exactly.
When you're preparing a meal, you want to look at all the different food.
Exactly. So once it's done, you can present it. If you want it. I know Anita loves cottage cheese. Mm-hmm. Why not with that? Some creme fraiche if you want, some sour cream, and then dust it with a little bit of those toasted butternut squash seeds, right? And if you want, that's the great thing about this thing, you can sprinkle a little bit more of some of these great spices. So aromatize everything. But what we do is we create out of this, okay, a phenomenal meal. But it's a meal not for today, for tomorrow, for the day after tomorrow, and again, and again. Why? Because whatever we don't need, we prepare it, we put it in a Ziploc bag or on a food safer, and freeze it until we need it next.
So the purpose of us doing this is, we're self-quarantining ourselves. We just figure, while we can, we might as well stay home and be able to prepare. So that's what we're doing. And in doing that, we're utilizing everything that we've got in the fridge. Things that we've had in the cupboard for a while now, and it's important to utilize all those things. So it's really handy, and to think outside the box, to look at the months that you probably have of food already that you could be able to utilize. So, did you have anything else to add, my dear?
No, I think it's about being creative, and like we talk about it, give everybody the opportunity to develop their own palate. And we say how many times we buy spices, we don't know what is in there. Well, play with the spices. If you have any question, go to passioniscooking.com and ask Dario or Anita some tips. We have all these spices, we don't know what to do, or we want to make this type of meal. We have all these ingredients. What do you recommend? And we love to help you and serve you on whatever is needed to you.
And go into whatever way you're watching this, whether it's on YouTube and Facebook or Instagram, add to the comments what it is you want us to do. What is it you want us to create? What do you have in your fridge? We'd love to see, we'd love to share, maybe share some pictures of what you're creating while you're at home. Again, we are in a time period right now while this video is being done where we've got the coronavirus, unfortunately, that is around, and a lot of people are self-quarantining themselves. But, this is something that's great to do all the time, so it's not necessarily just for now. And also, we've got the meal planner and grocery list, which we believe would be really helpful for you. We're having some issues with some people in being able to download the actual files. You can print them and write them, but you can also add them to your computer, save it, and be able to add the information in on the computer if you're wanting. So if you're interested in that, which I highly recommend, go to info@passionascooking.com and email us so we can send it to you.
Ragazzi, come, start into our journey and cook together, eat together, okay?
Ciao for now, everyone. Bye-bye.